Do to others what you want them to do to you. A simple sentence, yet it carries a power strong enough to transform a person or an entire life. In the fast-paced rhythm of American cities, where people chase success, opportunities, and recognition, we often forget that every action, even the smallest, leaves an imprint on another heart. Today, you and I will step into the story of Adrian Vale, a film actor celebrated across the United States. His fame shines so brightly that anyone looking at him would feel admiration. Yet behind that glow lies loneliness, pressure, and moments in which he unknowingly hurt the people around him. This story is not about religion. It is about humanity, about choosing between selfishness and kindness, between indifference and understanding, between ego and heart. And then, an unexpected event forces Adrian to confront everything he once ignored. It makes him face himself. It teaches him a lesson many know, but not everyone lives by. Do to others what you want them to do to you. Early mornings in Portland always carried a quiet softness mixed with a touch of melancholy. The low buildings half hidden behind a thin veil of mist, the streetlights glowing on rain-damp pavement, and the first lines of cars easing into traffic on Burnside Avenue all looked like scenes from an old, tender film. In that quiet landscape, Adrian Vale sat alone in the back seat of a luxury SUV, eyes blankly watching the stream of people outside. At 36, Adrian was already a box office leader, a face on nearly every film magazine, and the name everyone fought to book for major events. But success always asks for something in return. In recent years, his schedule had grown so intense he barely had time to breathe, truly breathe. He was served, guided, and protected by everyone around him, and gradually, Adrian became accustomed to it. So accustomed that a small frown from him could scare a crew member, a curt word could freeze an assistant in place. Adrian was not a bad person. He was simply someone who had forgotten that behind every shot, every scene, every minute of his success were countless unseen hands. Forgotten that the tired faces of the crew mattered as much as his perfect smile on screen. Forgotten that others deserved the same respect he wished to receive. That morning, Adrian arrived at the set of his new film, a highly anticipated summer blockbuster. As soon as he stepped out of the car, his assistant handed him the scene outline. The makeup artist hurried over to fix his collar, and the lighting crew shuffled aside quickly. Everyone moved with precise caution, as if one small mistake could ruin the entire day. And Adrian didn't look at any of them. He was exhausted, yet unaware that his indifference made others even more exhausted. The day's shoot dragged on. A few scenes failed, a few staff members made mistakes, and in his poor mood, Adrian allowed his irritation to spread across the team. A harsh comment here, a cold look there, a sigh heavy enough to make people shrink away. They were tiny moments, but tiny moments can sometimes trigger the biggest changes. At the end of the day, while the crew was packing up, Adrian caught the sad expression of a young new staff member being scolded by his supervisor for causing a redo of a scene. The boy glanced at Adrian, then lowered his head quickly, as if Adrian's mere presence added to his pressure. The moment flickered in Adrian's mind, but he pushed it away. He still didn't understand. Not yet. He didn't know that life was already preparing to lead him toward a lesson he couldn't avoid. A lesson sparked by an unexpected event that would strike straight into his heart and force him to face himself. A lesson he would remember for the rest of his life. That evening, after a long day of filming, Adrian felt the need for fresh air. Something to clear away the heaviness sitting in his chest. Portland at night glowed with soft amber lights reflecting off damp pavement, turning the city into a shimmering watercolor scene, beautiful and slightly wistful. Adrian pulled on his coat, tucked a knit cap over his head, and walked along the street. Despite his fame, winter nights in Portland were full of layered clothing, scarves, and hats, which made it easy for him to blend into the crowd unnoticed. He loved that feeling, being small among thousands of people, with no eyes on him and no expectations weighing down on his shoulders. A rare quiet. As he approached the corner of Fifth Avenue, he heard a loud metallic clatter ahead. A homeless man's pushcart had tipped over, sending everything rolling across the street. Cans of food, bits of fabric, an old backpack, and several worn-out books. Under the streetlight, an elderly man with silver hair struggled to gather his scattered belongings. People walked past, some glanced, most didn't stop. No one truly cared. Adrian stood just a few steps away. His first reaction was hesitation. He was tired. He wanted to go home. He wasn't sure if he should help. He had grown far more used to being helped than to helping others. But then, the old man looked up. His eyes, dim, deep, and full of exhaustion, locked onto Adrian's. They resembled the eyes of the young crew member from earlier that day. A hint of fear, a hint of hurt, a silent plea no one acknowledges. Adrian inhaled slowly. Then he stepped forward. "Let me help you." The old man flinched slightly. "Huh? No, it's fine. I can do it." But his trembling hands told a different story. Adrian crouched down, picking up each item scattered across the wet pavement. The dented cans, a torn glove, a wrinkled old photograph, a book whose spine was barely holding together. "Thank you. You're very kind," the old man murmured, his voice shaking from cold and emotion. Adrian looked at him more closely. A thin face, a frayed coat, hands marked with years of hardship. A human being who once had a life, before fate pushed him to the edges of the world. "Do you live alone?" Adrian asked quietly. "Yes. Well, actually," the old man sighed. "I live with nothing but the hope that tomorrow will be better than today." He smiled. A smile that was not sad, but not happy either. A smile used to enduring. Those words hit Adrian harder than he expected. They worked in silence for a while, rearranging items and setting the pushcart upright. When everything was back in place, the old man placed a frail hand on Adrian's arm. "You're a good man." Adrian froze. "Me? I don't think so." The old man studied him for a moment and then spoke with gentle certainty. "No one is completely good. No one is completely bad. But sometimes, all a person needs is a helping hand to remember that kindness still exists. And tonight, you were that hand." Adrian's chest tightened, warmth spreading slowly from somewhere deep inside. "What's your name?" Adrian asked. "Elias," the man replied. "And you?" "Adrian." "Adrian, that sounds familiar." Elias squinted slightly. "What do you do for a living?" Adrian chuckled softly, surprised by how natural the moment felt. "I work in the film industry." "Ah," Elias nodded. "Then you understand. We are all performing a role in life. But if we act too long, we forget who we truly are." The words sliced through Adrian's carefully constructed armor, not painfully, but truthfully. He hadn't expected a stranger to see through him so easily. They parted ways under the amber streetlight. Elias pushed his cart slowly down the street while Adrian remained still, watching his silhouette fade. A gust of wind brushed past, making Adrian shiver, not from cold, but from the realization that something inside him had shifted. Something small, but deep. Back in his apartment, the city lights glittered beneath the wide window. But instead of admiration, tonight the view felt strangely hollow. Adrian removed his coat, sank into the sofa, and closed his eyes. The image of Elias lingered. The trembling hands, the steady voice, the simple yet profound message. If you act too long, you forget who you truly are. Adrian opened his eyes. He realized he had been playing the role of the perfect star for so long that he had lost touch with the warm, sincere person he once was. His chest tightened, but it wasn't a feeling of despair. It was the beginning of awakening. That night, Adrian fell asleep late, and for the first time in many months, he dreamed of himself at 17, a boy trembling at the fear of failure, clinging to a fragile dream of acting, promising, "If I ever succeed, I will always stay kind." A promise he had forgotten for far too long. The next morning, Adrian arrived at the film set as usual, but something felt different. The air was heavier, colder, and strangely tense. As he stepped into the backstage area, people paused. Some exchanged glances. Others whispered just quiet enough for him to sense, but not hear. His assistant, Mia, hurried toward him, her eyes wide with worry. "Adrian, have you seen the news?" Her voice trembled. He frowned. "What news?" Mia handed him her phone. On the screen was a headline from a major entertainment outlet. Crew members accuse Adrian Vale, arrogant, cold, and disrespectful. Below it was a compiled video, clips of Adrian losing patience, speaking curtly, glaring at staff. Moments that were real, yes, but taken out of context, stitched together to paint him as someone far worse. A chill ran down Adrian's spine. He knew he had been thoughtless at times, but seeing his worst moments magnified this way felt like watching a distorted mirror of himself, cruel and unforgiving. Where did this come from?" Adrian asked quietly. "No one knows," Mia said. Someone on the crew must have recorded it secretly." Adrian remained silent. The weight in his chest grew heavier. A crisis meeting was called immediately. In a small conference room, the director, the producers, Adrian's manager, and several team leaders awaited him. The atmosphere was thick, not angry, but disappointed. The lead producer spoke first. "Adrian, we've always supported you, but this is serious. We're facing backlash everywhere." The director, a man who had once admired Adrian greatly, met his eyes with a mixture of sadness and concern. "The truth is, the set hasn't felt healthy for months. People feel tense around you." Mia sat in a corner, hands clasped tightly, watching him anxiously. Adrian swallowed hard. A part of him wanted to defend himself, to say he was under immense pressure, that he didn't mean to hurt anyone, that work stress made it hard to control his reactions. But then, Elias's voice echoed in his memory. "If we act too long, we forget who we truly are." And Adrian realized this wasn't a moment for excuses. "I'm sorry." The words were soft, almost fragile. The room fell silent. "I know I've been thoughtless," he continued, looking straight at the director. "I forgot that everyone here has feelings, burdens, and bad days of their own. I let pressure turn me into someone I don't want to be, and I'm truly sorry." The director exhaled, his expression softening. "I'm not asking for perfection. I'm asking for heart. Show us that you're still human." Adrian nodded slowly. For the first time in years, he felt small, but in a good way, in a necessary way. When the meeting ended, Adrian walked down a long hallway filled with bright white lights. He felt exposed, vulnerable. Every step echoed like a reminder of what he had become and what he needed to change. "Are you okay?" Mia's gentle voice broke the silence. Adrian paused, looking at her, the assistant who'd stayed with him through every storm, every bad mood, every careless remark. "Are you afraid of me, Mia?" The question surprised even him. Her eyes widened. "No, I'm not afraid. I'm just sad for you." "Sad?" he repeated. She nodded. "You could have been someone who inspires people, not someone they fear." The words hit straight into the softest part of his heart. Adrian lowered his gaze and whispered, "I'll change." Mia smiled gently. "I believe you." During the drive home, Adrian didn't turn on the radio. He needed silence, space to think. Portland's afternoon sun cast a golden hue over the buildings. But everything looked different now, as if he were seeing the city through new eyes. At a red light, he noticed a woman struggling to push her bicycle across the street. The chain had slipped off, leaving her stranded as cars rushed past. People swerved around her, uninterested, too busy to stop. Once, Adrian would have been the same. He would have looked away, pretended not to see, continued with his day. But today, he turned on the hazard lights, stepped out of the car, and approached. "Let me help." Within minutes, the bicycle chain was fixed. The woman thanked him repeatedly. Adrian simply smiled, a small, genuine smile. "Take care." As he returned to his car, he felt something unfamiliar. Lightness, as if a heavy stone had been lifted from his chest. That evening, Adrian sat by the window of his apartment, watching the city lights shimmer below. He thought of Elias's trembling hands. He thought of Mia's sad eyes. He thought of the young crew member who had lowered his head in fear. And he asked himself quietly, have I treated others the way I want to be treated? For the first time in a long time, he cared about the answer. The next day, after finishing the morning shoot earlier than expected, Adrian suddenly felt the urge to return to the place where he first met Elias. He didn't quite understand why, he simply felt drawn there. Maybe to say thank you, maybe to check on him. Maybe because something inside him needed to see the man who had awakened a long, silent part of his heart. He walked along Fifth Avenue. The weak morning sunlight filtered through layers of gray clouds, forming thin streaks of pale gold. Cafes were opening, the smell of fresh pastries drifting through the cold air. A bookstore propped its door open, and people hurried past with steaming cups of coffee. But when Adrian reached the exact corner where Elias had been, his heart sank. No cart, no scattered belongings, no old books, no sign of Elias at all. Adrian scanned the sidewalk carefully, more carefully than he had looked at anything in months, but it was as if the old man had vanished into thin air. Just then, a cafe worker stepped outside to throw away a bag of trash. Adrian approached her. "Excuse me, do you know what happened to the older man who was here yesterday?" She thought for a moment, then nodded slowly. "Oh, the elderly homeless man? I saw medical responders take him this morning. He collapsed in front of the shop around 6. It was freezing out." A shock ran through Adrian's body. Collapsed? Where did they take him? "I'm guessing the hospital? Portland Mercy, maybe?" That was all he needed. Without hesitation, Adrian hurried toward the street, flagged down a car, and raced to Portland Mercy Hospital. The hospital smelled of antiseptic and echoes, the kind of place where footsteps sounded louder than usual, where silence carried its own weight. Adrian walked quickly to the reception desk. "Hi, was an elderly homeless man named Elias brought in this morning?" The nurse checked her screen, then nodded with a faint smile. "Yes, he's in room 204, but he's not doing very well." Those words pierced him like cold metal. Adrian thanked her and walked down the corridor. His pace quickened with every step. When he finally reached room 204, he stopped, placing a hand on the glass window. Elias lay on the bed, his skin pale, breathing shallow. A thin blanket covered him. An IV drip hung beside the bed. His worn coat had been neatly folded and placed on the chair. Adrian slowly opened the door. Elias's eyes fluttered open. When he recognized Adrian, a faint but warm smile lit his tired face. "Adrian," his voice was weaker, hoarse. "I knew you'd come." Adrian pulled a chair close, sitting beside him. "Why didn't you tell me you were sick?" Elias gave a small, quiet laugh. "There are things people get used to enduring alone. I've lived that way for many years." Adrian held Elias's hand gently, surprised by how cold it was. "You don't have to endure everything alone." Elias studied him with soft, knowing eyes. "You say that as if you understand." "I learned it from you," Adrian whispered. Silence settled over the room, soft, heavy, meaningful. The monitor beeped steadily but faintly. After a moment, Elias spoke again, his voice slow and fragile. "You know, I used to be a teacher. I taught children about kindness, that it's the most precious gift one can give. But life has a way of pulling people downhill. When you lose everything, it becomes easy to forget who you once were." "You didn't forget," Adrian said quickly, but Elias shook his head. "Oh, I did, for a long time, but the night you helped me pick up my things, that simple act reminded me of the man I used to be. The teacher who believed kindness could save someone, even just for a moment." Adrian felt tears prick the backs of his eyes. "You've helped me far more than I helped you." "Maybe we helped each other," Elias murmured. "You helped me remember myself, and I helped you." See who you were becoming. Adrian swallowed hard, his voice barely steady. You made me think. A lot. I want to do better than this. I want to be better than who I've been. Elias raised a trembling hand and placed it gently on Adrian's. Don't just think, Adrian, do. That single word, soft as a whisper, struck deeper than any lecture. 2 days later, Adrian had a scheduled live TV interview, a major program watched by millions. It was originally meant to promote his upcoming film, but with the scandal spreading online, everyone was waiting to see how he would respond. Before the recording began, Adrian sat alone in the dressing room. His heart pounded. He stared at his own reflection, and for a moment, he saw two versions of himself. The flawless star, polished and distant, and the real Adrian, imperfect, weary, but longing to be kind again. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath. Do to others what you want them to do to you, he whispered. Maybe it starts with being honest. Something inside him settled. A small glow, like a candle in the dark, flickered to life. When the interview began, the host asked directly about the accusations, about his behavior, about how people felt working with him. And for the first time in his career, Adrian didn't dodge. He didn't sugarcoat. He didn't pretend. He said clearly and softly, I was wrong. I forgot kindness. I forgot that every person deserves the respect I want for myself. But I'm learning again, and I promise to do better, starting now. The studio fell silent. The host blinked, taken aback by the sincerity. Millions watching from home felt something shift. But Adrian didn't know that while he was speaking the most honest words of his life, in room 204 of Portland Mercy Hospital, something unexpected was happening, something that would change everything. The interview ended in an atmosphere unlike anything Adrian had expected. No explosive applause, no dramatic reactions. But the way people looked at him changed. Softer, more understanding, and perhaps a small spark of admiration. Adrian slipped out through the back exit of the broadcasting station to avoid attention. A gentle Portland drizzle greeted him. Tiny raindrops clung to his coat as he tilted his face upward, inhaling deeply, as though the air finally felt lighter. Mia caught up with him. You did great, she said quietly, her voice as soft as the rain. Adrian didn't respond right away. His mind, his heart were elsewhere. Elias. He had to see him. As if guided by instinct, Adrian called a car and headed straight for Portland Mercy Hospital. The hospital was quieter in the late afternoon. The overhead lights cast long white reflections across the polished floor. The air hummed lightly with distant footsteps and the faint beeping of machines. Adrian walked quickly, his pulse rising with every step. When he turned the corner and reached room 204, he stopped, and his breath caught. The bed was empty, sheets freshly changed, IV stand removed. The chair where Elias's coat once sat, now bare, no sign of him anywhere. A hollow ache spread in Adrian's chest. He hurried to the nearest nurse's station. Excuse me, Adrian said, voice trembling despite his effort to stay composed. The patient in room 204. Elias, where is he? The nurse looked up with gentle eyes, as though she had been expecting this question. She reached under the desk, pulled out a yellow envelope, and held it out to him. He asked us to give you this, she said. He was transferred this morning. Adrian's hands shook as he took the envelope. On the front, written in a faint, wavering script, were two words. For Adrian. He swallowed hard and opened it slowly. Inside was a folded letter, still carrying the faint scent of antiseptic. Adrian unfolded it carefully. Adrian, if you're reading this, it means you came back. Thank you. Don't worry, I didn't die. They're taking me somewhere better, somewhere warm, safe, and gentle. I want you to remember this. You helped me see myself again. You reminded me that kindness still exists. You helped me believe that even someone who has fallen far can find his way back to the light. Adrian blinked rapidly as tears formed, but he kept reading. And you, Adrian, You are finding your light too. Don't stop. You can touch more hearts than you realize. And listen, if you ever doubt yourself, remember this. One small act, helping an old man pick up a few fallen objects, changed my whole world. Adrian felt a sharp ache in his chest, not painful, just overwhelming. He pressed the letter gently against his heart. The boy inside you is still there, the kind one, the dreamer, the one who wanted to bring goodness into the world. Let him lead you. Thank you for seeing me as a person, not a burden, not trash on the street, a person, truly. Adrian closed his eyes, letting the weight and warmth of the words settle into him. It felt as though something inside him cracked open, the shell he had built, the hardness he wore, revealing something tender underneath. He steadied his voice enough to ask the nurse, Where did they take him?" She smiled kindly. "To the city's care center for the homeless. It's a good place. Warm beds, real meals, and people who watch over them." He said, "I won't be lonely there." Adrian lowered his head, relief pouring through him like warm water. When Adrian stepped outside the hospital, the rain had stopped. The sky glowed in soft hues of orange and pink, the kind of sunset that felt like a quiet blessing. He stood on the steps, watching the colors shift over the Portland skyline. A part of him still ached, for the moments he never got to say thank you, for the goodbye he didn't hear. But another part of him glowed warmly, because Elias was safe, cared for, acknowledged as someone who mattered, and because Adrian knew, deep in his bones, that he would never forget this lesson. Kindness doesn't need to be grand. It only needs to be real and timely. That night, Adrian sat on his balcony, the city glittering beneath him. He took the letter from the envelope, unfolded it, and laid it gently on the table. He looked at it for a long time. Then slowly, he smiled. Not a smile for the cameras, not a smile for fame. A smile born from rediscovery, from returning to the person he once promised he would be. After the interview and the final message from Elias, Adrian returned to the set with a completely different energy. No one forced him to do it. No one pressured him. He wasn't acting out of guilt or fear of the public. He changed because something in his heart had shifted. Over the next several days, everyone on set felt it clearly. Adrian greeted people when he arrived. He said thank you for even the smallest assistance. He apologized when he noticed he'd made someone uncomfortable. He picked up a pen that had fallen for a lighting technician. He asked the makeup artist if she was feeling tired today. These were simple gestures, ordinary, everyday human warmth. But for those around him, they felt like sunlight breaking through winter clouds. One afternoon, a major scene fell apart due to technical issues. The camera malfunctioned, the lighting was off, and the entire team had to pause for nearly an hour to fix things. In the past, Adrian would have exploded. He would have stormed off, scolded someone, or shut down completely. But today, he stayed. He sat next to the crew, chatting with them. He helped move a prop. He even handed a towel to a young technician who was sweating from stress. The entire set fell into a stunned silence. Someone whispered, "Adrian, he's different today." Adrian smiled gently. "I'm just doing what I'd want someone to do for me if I were in their place." No one said more, but his sincerity spread across the room like warmth radiating from a small flame. A week later, the team wrapped up Adrian's last scene, the final shot of the entire film. When the director shouted, "Cut! Perfect!" the crew erupted into applause. But this time, Adrian didn't stand alone in the center like a triumphant star. He stepped toward the crew, shaking hands with each person. He hugged them. He bowed his head to every department, camera, lighting, sound, props. He thanked them, one, by name, with genuine gratitude. A young crew member burst into tears. "You really changed," she whispered. Adrian's smile was soft, grounded. "Oh, I didn't change, I simply came back to myself." At the end of the day, when everyone had gone home, Adrian remained alone on the empty soundstage. No footsteps, no bright lights, no rolling cameras, only silence. A peaceful, embracing silence filled with the echoes of everything he had lived through. He closed his eyes, inhaled deeply, and he could almost hear Elias's voice, faint but warm, drifting through memory. The boy inside you is still there. Let him lead. Adrian opened his eyes and smiled, a gentle, real smile. Then he walked out of the studio and into the evening streets of Portland. The city was glowing with countless lights, each one a small flicker of hope in the bustling night. And Adrian stepped into that flow of people, not as movie star Adrian Vale, but as a human being carrying a quiet light, the light of kindness.